Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to play a very important, very special chord called the one chord. It's hands down the single most important chord in all of music, so it's no wonder we call it the one chord. Let's come to the piano to check it out. Now remember, a chord is a group of two or more notes. Like I can take C and G when I play it together. That's a chord. A one chord is built using three specific notes, Do, Mi, and So, which you may recognize as the three notes of a major arpeggio. Sometimes in music we call a three-note chord like this a triad. So we could call this a C major triad. And we can play all three at the same time with one hand. Doesn't that have a great sound? I love that sound. So if we're in the key of C major, a one chord uses C, E, and G. But what if we're in the key of D major? Well, let's find Do, Mi, and So in D major. Do would now be on D. We skip E up to F sharp for Mi. And So is on A, and that makes Do, Mi, So. And we can play them all together. That's a D major one chord. By the way, the symbol for a one chord is simply a Roman numeral 1, which looks like a capital letter I to us. You might have seen Roman numerals on fancy clocks or as part of movie titles. I don't know why, but it's just tradition in music to use Roman numerals for chord symbols. So remember, in music, a capital I means the one chord. Now, to practice the technique of playing the one chord, I'd like you to find a flat surface to practice on. So I've closed my piano lid. If your piano doesn't have a lid, you can do it on a table or any flat surface. But I want it to be a solid, flat surface. And take your fingers 1 and 5, thumb and pinky, and just touch them like we did when we were learning how to play a two-note chord. Finger 1 and 5, just touch and then release. Touch and then release. Remember that our finger 1 plays near the tip, just pointing sideways like this, and your finger 5 should also play near the tip, not flat. Don't let this part of your finger 5 touch. It's just near the tip. Touch and then release. Touch and then release. Now, let's try touching with fingers 1 and 5, and now add finger 3. So you're letting your fingers 2 and 4 just float gently in the air, and you're touching with fingers 1, 3, and 5. Touch, release, touch, release. Now, a brief warning. If you have small hands, if you're 5 or 6 years old, this may be an exercise that's a little bit advanced for you. Kind of like Legos when I used to see them for ages 7 plus. This exercise, I would say, is for ages 7 plus. Now, if a 5-year-old plays with age 7 and up Legos, it's not like the Legos are going to blow up. You can definitely try this, and maybe you'll love it. Maybe it will work great. But if it feels frustrating, feel free to skip this and try this exercise later. Let's try one more time with fingers 1 and 5, touch on the flat surface you're on, and then add finger 3. So now all three fingers, 1, 3, and 5, are touching. And then touch, and then release. Touch. Then you always want to relax at the end by floating up. Release. Touch. Release. Good. Okay, now let's try with our left hand. We're going to use fingers 1 and 5 for starters. Just let them touch. Remember to keep the thumb near the side tip and finger 5 also near the tip. Touch, release, touch, release. Okay, now let's try fingers 1 and 5, and then we'll add in finger 3. So now we have 3 fingers touching, 1, 3, and 5. Practice touch, and then release by floating up. touch, release, touch, release. And your fingers 2 and 4 are just floating up, just barely enough so they're not touching. You're only feeling the surface with fingers 1, 3, and 5. Release. Good. That's something you can practice anytime during the week when you're at the dinner table or riding in the car on your lap. Just practice this exercise of touching those 3 fingers, 1, 3, and 5, with the left hand and with the right hand, or both. Okay, let's say you're 6 and under and you're really dying to try this. Well, I'll tell you a secret. When my boys were 5 and 6, I would sometimes buy them toys that said 7+. It's okay. If you want to try this, you can try a modification at first. Like maybe you want to try just fingers 3 and 5 at first. That's a modification for smaller hands. Fingers 1 and 3 by themselves. So just try modifying at first. Fingers 1 and 3 by themselves. Try that. Or fingers 3 and 5 by themselves. And then when you're ready, you'll know it, you'll feel it, and you can try the 3-note triad. So let's try playing the 1 chord in C major on our piano now. So you'll take your fingers 1, 3, and 5 and just touch them on C, E, and G. You'll let fingers 2 and 4 float up just slightly, comfortably, and then when you're ready, use arm weight to drop into those keys. And then always end by floating up the wrist. Play the chord and then release. Try that a few times. Remember, you can modify if you want to with just 3 and 5 or 1 and 3. Now, if your fingers aren't quite cooperating, be patient with yourself. This is a tricky skill to master. It may take time, but try and listen that all the notes sound exactly together. You don't want it to sound like this. Hear how the notes were kind of blah, blah, blah. They were staggered. You want to time it so the chord sounds solid. All 3 notes play exactly together. And that requires a little bit of firmness in the fingertips. Keep them right in contact with the keys, and then use arm weight to drop. Then release. Pause the video and practice just a few times on your own with the 1 chord using right hand only in C major, and then press play to go on. Now let's try to play the C major 1 chord with our left hand. So go ahead and place fingers 5, 3, and 1 on C, E, and G. Let your fingers come in contact, float up fingers 2 and 4, and then drop. Then release with the float up with the wrist. Try this with me. Just drop and release. Drop and release. And again, listen for all the notes to sound exactly together. You want this solid, clean sound. Pause the video once again to work on left hand alone, C major triad. Remember, you can always modify to just 2 notes if your hand is not quite ready to tackle the 3-note challenge. Pause to work on your own, then press play to go on. Okay, let's try a D major 1 chord now. With the right hand, touch fingers 1, 3, and 5 on D, F sharp, A. See if we can play that as a chord. The D major triad, we can say. Try that a few times. And then when you're ready, try the left hand. If this feels super awkward at first, you are not alone. When you're ready, you can even try it hands together. But be patient as you master this skill. One more thing I'd like to show you is how you can add triads, or this 1 chord, to songs that you've learned in the past, like Mouse in the House. If you look in the Unit 2 method book, on this theory page, Adding Chords to Mouse in the House, you can see these one chord symbols written up above the music. Every time you see the one chord symbol, that's when you'll play a one chord. So hands together, it would sound like this. Let's try a little bit together. Don't worry about adding the melody yet. Let's just play the chords with your left hand, and we're going to sing the melody while we play the chords. Get your left hand ready, and we're going to play a chord every 2 beats, like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Try it with me. Go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Keep going. 1, 2. Now let's sing. Go. Mouse, mousey, in the housey, hurry, hurry do. Or the kitty in the housey will be chasing you. Run! Okay, so that's one way you can practice at first, to get comfortable with the chords. And then when you're ready, bring the right hand in. Let the right hand play the melody while the left hand plays the chords. Just like that. And I'll let you figure out the rest. One last way that you can practice with one chords or triads this week is to try improvising in one hand while you play chords in the other hand. Let's come back to the D major triad. So I'm using D major for my left hand, and my right hand can improvise a melody. I just made that up. And you can make up your own melodies too. It's really fun to play around with chords and melodies and see how they can fit together to make music. So this week, whenever you have some free time, just on your lap or any flat surface, you can practice touching with fingers 1, 3, 5, and let that start to feel comfortable. And then on the piano, practice some 3-note triads, the one chord every day, and you'll find that it feels more and more comfortable the more you practice it. Great job learning how to play the one chord today. Have lots of fun making music this week, and as always, thanks for watching and happy practicing!
How am I supposed to play a 3-note chord? I only have 2 claws. But I have lots of teeth. Rawr!